Hey, good morning, all. Happy Monday to you. So we finished the novel Friday, or should have. All right. If you haven't quite yet, you need to do that before you do this. Obviously, this is the learning check for section 3. It's the final one. Um, and so I'm just going to go over it with you really quickly. Hopefully, you've done 1 and 2, and hopefully, you've submitted it and gotten some feedback from me. All right. And so with that, I'm going to walk you through this really quickly. It was over chapters 7, 8, and 9, which were all three rather short chapters. Okay, so if you're a little behind, it shouldn't take you too long to catch up. Okay, nothing different here. The same thing, but a few things that I want to point out as important reminders. One, and some of you discovered this and still will discover this because you missed it the first time, or I didn't do a good enough job of making sure it was clear the first time. You have to use the same universal theme all the way throughout. So if you start with fear, you have to use with number 1, you have to use fear with number 2, you have to use fear with number 3. You're using fear for the entire piece here, folks, and you'll continue that into the final when we take that. So hopefully you've picked up on that. If not, you're going to have to make some adjustments, right? Because you have to have the same theme all the way throughout. And if you're not finding examples and other things, maybe it's not as central as you think it is. All right. So if it is central to the novel or to the book or to Ellie's story, you should be able to find examples of it throughout. Okay. The other piece, importantly, you have to use at least one example of division, and you have to use at least one example of connection. Okay, you can't have 3 divisions, you can't have 3 connections. You're going to have either 1 connection and 2 divisions, or 1 division and 2 connections. Okay, and so you're going to have to look for examples of that. All right, and if you're finding that your universal theme is not working with either, you may have to select, or with both rather, you may have to select a different universal theme. And if you need help on that, reach out. Okay. The other thing that I noticed that I wanted to point out in terms of giving feedback to folks, some of you just simply put a word in here and then highlighted connection or division. I was just giving this as a template for you to hopefully write your own sentence that would mirror or reflect something like fear creates division in section 1 of night. You should have your own sentence down here. That is your claim. All right. So don't just plug a couple things in here, highlight a couple things in here. I mean, if you need to do that, do that, but then um, transfer that over into your own sentence down here, please. The other thing that I wanted to point out that was something that came up in the ones that I've looked at and the ones I've given feedback to. Remember, it's author's last name and the page number. All right. You have a parenthetical citation. Wiesel 23 or whatever page number you're using goes inside parentheses. Notice there's no punctuation in between here, and the period always goes on the outside. All right. And then down here for your clarify, remember, the goal here is to clarify your claim. All right, my claim is fear creates division in section 1 of night. All right, so that is what I have to make clear. I have to make clear my thinking, not what's going on in the quote that I have used. The quote comes into play as support for this is where I made this discovery about the claim that I am now making, and now I'm going to show you how I made this discovery by then making reference to and explaining how the quote supports what I am trying to say. So please begin by clarifying, making clear. Remember, making clear, guys, means that you're making it clear, that you're leaving no doubt that the reader understands what you're trying to say. And that may mean that we have to do a little more work. That may mean that we sound even a little repetitive, if not redundant. But at least when we're doing that, we're making clear. We're leaving nothing to chance. We're not making the reader guess, like, this is what I mean when I say fear creates division in section 1 of night. So you should find yourself discussing just that, all right, whatever your claim is, in your clarify. If you're not discussing your claim, you're really not doing what you're supposed to be doing here. If you find yourself just simply summarizing what happened in your quote, that is a different task and a different skill. That is not what you're being asked to do here. If that's still unclear, please reach out. All right. So hopefully you're making progress with these. Again, the idea is you're basically building the body of your essay for the final for night, which we're now going to actually do on Wednesday. I said on Friday we were going to do it on Tuesday, but we're actually going to move that to Wednesday. All right, for a couple of reasons. Mostly, one, it gives me a little more opportunity to give you guys some feedback before we do that. All right, so hopefully things are clear, and maybe becoming clearer for the first time. And if that means a little extra work, I'm sorry for that, but we've got to get this wrapped up correctly here. So if you need more clarification or more assistance, please reach out. That's why I'm here. All right, peace out. Happy Monday.